Hiya, pals. Hi, pals, and welcome to the Disneyland Paris Show. Here's your hosts, Lucy, Chris, and Hugh. Gosh. And now, Disneyland Paris News.
France has been removed from the UK government's Amber Plus travel list, meaning Brits can now visit DLP without the need to quarantine on return.
Premier Access rolls out in the park and on the app, giving guests the first look at pricing.
Mobile order is now live at several DLP restaurants.
It's a Small World will close for an extended refurbishment starting September the 27th, 2021.
Got another
Yeah. The Frontierland Playground has reopened for the summer season.
Health Pass is now required to...
Health Pass is now required to enter Disney Village and Disney hotels in addition to the park.
An annual pass pop-up shop has appeared at the Storybook store.
Amateur.
I know that was professional as always, wasn't it? You'd think we'd never done this before.
It's because it's a
Had a
Monday.
couple of weeks off.
That's what happens when you do a Monday show.
That's it. Rhythm is ruined. I'm in a mood today, Chris.
Oh,
Just
why
sometimes you get yourself in a tuck and you get yourself in a bad mood. And me and Hugh had this chat a couple of weeks ago where it's like, I think we should just own it. I think if you're in a mood, you should say, I'm in a mood.
That's what Pete Werner does on the
Diz.
Diz Unplugged.
I'm in a mood.
Is it my
I'm
fault?
in a mood. I'm not taking it today. You are?
Is it my fault?
No,
Is it
not
Chris's
still.
fault?
No, basically,
Is it your
and
fault?
this will come up later in the show. I spent a good sort of hour wrestling with trying to do something on the Disneyland Paris website that was not cooperating with me. And you know, when you just end up chasing your tail on a website and you do one thing and it sends you to another thing and then you have to do another thing and you still haven't achieved the thing you wanted to do and you just get gradually more sort of churned up. It's that, and then that doesn't dissipate then, does it? Then you just have a day of and it's all designed.
I've had a similar afternoon actually on on the FA website trying to sign up for my coaching, my level 1 coaching badge, because the website just seems to, whenever you click on something and you move on to the next page, it seems to be blank, and then you have to go back and do something else again. Then you have to log in again because it's forgotten who you are and things. It's just constant. It was driving me nuts.
Yeah.
My day's been fine.
Well, good for you.
Totally fine.
Right. Okay, what we're going to do today is we're going to be talking about the new Premier Access system at Disneyland Paris. We did speak about this a couple of weeks ago, but it is now live. So we've seen the pricing, we've seen it in action. We're going to talk about how we think it's going to go. We're also going to nip across the pond to have a look at the details for the new Galactic Starcruiser Resort Hotel that is opening up in Orlando. As all the details have been released for that, we're going to discuss whether it would work in Paris, whether we would want it to come to Paris, whether we think it might be part of the Galaxy's Edge, because it has been rumoured, not very strong or substantial rumours, but there has been whisperings of it. So I thought we'd have a chat about that.
Cool.
As ever, we have new and changing travel updates, as we seem to have every couple of weeks at the moment. So we've got more Disney trips cancelled and more Disney trips booked to tell you about. I'd say it's exciting, but they get cancelled that often. It's like, yeah, whatever. Never happen. But okay. And Chris has got updates on our Patreon competition and scheme and website. So we're going to do that. But for now, the news.
Bong.
Before we go on to the news, have you got anyone in chat you want to say hello to, Huey, before we
Yes,
go on?
they made it, even though it's Monday. Bob is a bit confused. He said, "What's going on?"
It's all right, Bob.
It's Monday.
Yeah.
Bob, get yourself a cup of tea and just sit down for a minute. It's going to be all right. No, it's the second week in a row we've had to do this just because of schedules, but we should return to Sunday. Although No, we will return Sunday.
Yeah.
Will we? Should we? Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
I think we've both been on holidays, which
Yeah.
take us out of town on a Sunday, so we've had to switch to a Monday. I think we'll be back to Sundays for a few weeks after that.
Yeah.
Mark Chester was first in the chat. Well done, Mark.
Well done, Mark.
Very prompt. Emily's all the way from Australia again.
Yay! Hello, Emily. I mean, I didn't yay the other two, did I? I find it so exotic to think there's somebody sitting in it's winter sunshine, isn't it, over there at the moment? As we peer out at the dark clouds, wondering when the next lot of drizzle will start.
Bob's been barbershop singing again. Singing again.
Oh,
Nice.
Very good.
Singing again.
We'll have to get you on at some point, Bob, and you can sing for us. I mean,
think
bring the other three as well.
That is the most Disney style of music, in my opinion.
What
For parks is barbershop singing.
What range do you sing? What are you, Bob? What are you? Where are you? Up here?
Are you
Down
a
here?
rich soulful baritone?
I imagine you're a baritone. Yeah, that'd be my guess.
All right, what if it's a surprising castrato? You never know. Right.
Mm.
Let's get on to some things then. I'm going in reverse order because I tend to do them in an exciting order when we read them out, which
He
means
is a
I want to leave
castrato.
the exciting ones. Oh
But he sings tenor falsetto, so it's the same thing, really, isn't it?
yeah.
He's pretending to be a
much.
castrato.
Yeah. It has to grip something in the middle eight, I think.
right in the middle eight.
Right. So, an annual pass pop-up shop has appeared at the Storybook store. This is news to me. They did the teasers about this and I missed it. I don't know. So we knew that they were having the facade of the Storybook store done. Now, in past years, it has been one of my favorite stores as the Storybook store because it used to properly be a bookstore, but recently it's just kind of been a colouring bookstore and a notebook store. Anyway, they've turned it into an annual pass pop-up shop. So it's an annual pass exclusive shop for annual pass holders. And it is meant to be, I think it's meant to be exclusive merchandise, but apparently most of it isn't. Let me find the details. They've had some prints from the original Hotel New York, not the Art of Marvel one, the before the refurbishment, and I think that they're just off the walls from the rooms, so they're selling proper Disney memorabilia there. Interesting.
Yeah. Cool.
There's also an exclusive Arribas Brothers Phantom Mannequin, which is an annual pass exclusive, and there's going to be exclusive products, different products each week, but apparently the rest is stuff that you can find all over the park. So it's likely that you really are going to be getting one corner of the store that's got your annual pass exclusive products, because they do a lot of AP exclusive pins as well, so maybe they're going to sell those in there, and then the rest is just anything. It does say pop-up store, which suggests it's got a time limit on it, but it's not an advertised time limit. For the time being, it's there and it's staying there.
It's also an excuse for it being a mess.
Yeah.
If it is indeed a mess.
Yeah.
Are you expecting it to be a mess?
Could be.
I always think pop-up stores, I just imagine that every morning they kind of like unfold a blanket full of wares and then pack them away.
I always
again
imagine they don't have a proper sign. They've got a banner that they've got printed, a big banner.
At Vistaprint.
Yeah.
Super. Right. So the next bit of information is that they've started needing the health pass in the village and in the hotels, whereas previously it was only in the parks. They did pre-warn us that this was coming, but they said in the next few weeks. We now know that was the 9th. Is that today? That's today. So today was the first day that they required it. Masks are required at all times in the parks, but only indoors in the village and in the hotels, just for clarity. So if you are outside the park, you're in Fantasy Gardens, you walk into the bus stop, you're in the village, outside you don't need to wear masks there, it's only inside, whereas in the park it's at all places. Now I actually need to check the age on this because it's yo-yoed a bit, hasn't it? When we went it was 11 plus, and then I believe it went further down to 9 plus, and it might have gone even lower. If anyone's in the chat and knows this, if they'd let us know, that'd be brilliant. If not, I'll make sure I find out for you all next week, because we need to know anyway, for reasons we will discuss later. But they accept the NHS barcode. Now you've belt and braced yourself with this, haven't you?
I've got the little card in my wallet. I've got the barcode on the app. So it generates a little barcode which expires after a few weeks. And you can also order a paper one, which I did. I've ordered a paper one and that arrived. But actually, they seem to have stopped doing that since I got it. And now they just have an option to download a PDF of it. So I've actually got four. I've got four, and I didn't realise that France, almost immediately after there was this whole thing about the Covishield variation of the vaccine. It was only like 2 days later, but I completely missed it. France did a U-turn and said, "Oh, that's fine.
You'll be right." I didn't know that either. Completely missed.
No, it's like I think I tweeted complaining about it on the 15th of July, and when I looked it up the other day, so and then I left it after that. I was like, "Well, we'll just wait and see what happens." And then it turned out, I Googled it a couple of days ago, it was 17th of July. It was been reported that they'd done a U-turn. This is just in France.
But that's really good news for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
I will say as well, Joe Biden still hasn't opened the borders in America, but stuff's moving. They're having cabinet meetings about it and details have leaked. And it has been, a list of accepted vaccinations has been confirmed now. And they have put AstraZeneca / Covishield.
Oh, I feel I feel vindicated.
I think it's just generally, it was very bureaucratic to start with. No one ever said it wasn't a valid thing. It didn't have the red tape. So I think that they really go into making sure that it's clear that they do accept it. So that's a comfort for any of you who had the bad batch. Some people had the bad batch. Yeah. Right.
5 million of you.
Oh, and just to be clear, when I say the NHS barcode is accepted, it's literally a barcode on your certificate that they can scan at the gates, the same way that they can do with the French one. I don't believe you have to upload it and apply for a French health pass or anything. I think they just accept the NHS one as easily as they would a French one. Right, small world, Chris. You were gutted.
Well, gutted, yeah, because it depends how long it's shut, doesn't it? It depends what extended means. If it's extended like Buzz Lightyear was because there was a pandemic in the middle of it all and it was shut for a year and a half, then that would be bad. If it's shut for 5 months, that would be ideal because it might actually be open for when we visit in February. But
I do know it is shut in the way that Buzz Lightyear was shut. But of course, I don't know how long that would have been. Because of the pandemic, I think it would have been like 9 months or something like that.
They're going to bust a gut to get everything open for March, April, aren't they?
April they want it open by the 30th.
Yeah, so if we do miss it, I would imagine it won't be by much.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's even worse though when it opens the week after, isn't it?
But you know what? We'll just go on something else instead. It's no problem.
So there's a lot of debate as to what because this isn't a do some more paint work length refurb. This is a proper extended refurbishment. As to what that means, because nobody was given any pre-warning. Quite often, like with Buzz Lightyear, the specified LED lights, enhance the guest experience, blah blah.
Brand new song.
Well,
could you imagine?
There's two major things that are been talked about in the community. Number one is that they're going to add Disney characters the way they have done in Tokyo.
Yeah, you're going to say that.
It depends how subtly they do it. They can do it where they turn the mermaid's hair ginger, her bra purple and a tail fin green, and it becomes Ariel without making it Ariel, if that makes sense. Right. But then there's ways where they just stick Donald Duck behind a lamppost, and I don't know. I just think it's enough.
Yeah, but this is I mean, we're only speculating that could happen, which it might not, but this is happening like all over the place now. They're just slapping IPs on everything. That it was particularly bad, I thought, in the
studios,
that hotel in Walt Disney World.
Oh, Polynesia.
No, the other one.
Oh, the contemporary.
the contemporary. I was saying on Twitter how like I find it a bit. I'd be a bit more embarrassed to sort of show people pictures of this room that had like an Edna Mode pillow or Frozone like in the bathroom. Whereas before it was like, look at this, it was Disney World, but like it's cool. It's got these cool rooms, but now it's like it's just a Disney room, like in the way that people who don't know better would imagine it. They're actually starting to turn them into the kind of thing that you would expect someone who doesn't know much about it to think up.
It's a gimmick. It becomes a gimmick.
Yeah, they just need to stop doing that.
I mean, this might not be the case at all, but with general use of IPs, I almost feel a bit talked down to as a Disney park fan, as if this is why we're here and this is what we want. And if it doesn't have, a princess attached to it, that we haven't got the imagination to see what's behind it. And when it comes to something like Small World, which is a Walt attraction, it's an original Walt Mary Blair attraction. I like I say, I just feel a bit talked down to when they feel the need to add it. It's like we are underestimated, they're underestimating us. However, I must say this isn't confirmed, that it's going to be characters. The other speculation is that they're going to paint the ceiling black.
That'd be good.
And that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense.
I mean, not for the time it's going to take, it wouldn't. Like, it's a 20-minute job, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
No, I think because they're going to have to remove a lot of the animatronics to get up high to replace the ceiling.
It will completely alter the lighting.
For
them to do something like that, it will completely alter the way the whole thing is lit, because it will make a huge difference to the
It will.
But they just look like panels you'd get in an office. I'm sure there's a crawl space above it. They can just pop them out, spray them black, pop them back in.
It would require an extended refurbishment, but I just think it would be so worth it. And it's that kind of thing where I'm like, Disney is thinking about the quality of the product. They're not thinking about making money. They're not thinking about getting cheap thrills by adding things. They're thinking about the quality of it. And I'd be so proud of them if they did that, because it's universally acknowledged. And when I hear other worldwide theme park critics talk about Disneyland Paris and stuff, I've heard other people mention that ceiling. And as a Disneyland Paris home parker, I'm like, because I still think it's the best Small World, in my opinion. Having seen ride-throughs and having been on others, I think it's the best Small World, but that ceiling lets it down.
But this is what I was going to say. It's not like it's not a popular ride, is it? So making wide sweeping changes to the thing doesn't seem like a very sensible thing to do for me. Painting the ceiling, fine, do it. It's not a bad idea. They're going to be changing the lighting and things in there. I imagine some of the audio needs work and things as well. So it makes sense at this. I don't think they have to do much to need an extended time to fix it up and do things, to be absolutely honest, And as we've seen with all these other rides, when they reopen, they're massively improved visually. So hopefully that's what it'll be, and it won't be.
They should have a recording of the cards outside the entrance saying, "We're painting the ceiling black. We're painting the ceiling black," and that'd make it worth it. But mind you, they'd never be that specific. They'd never point out, "Oh, there's a problem there, so we're going to sort that out." There's a couple of comments on that actually.
Oh, go on then, yeah.
Mark says, "Me Julie is not happy that she won't get to go on her favourite ride in December."
Oh, Me Julie, it's awful, isn't it?
But Nat says, "My teenage boys will be delighted if Small World is closed when they go, because they find the dolls and song super creepy."
Yep. I don't get that. And I know it's a thing that people like to say, "Oh, that song is so annoying." I've never found it annoying. I find it joyful and catchy.
And Bob's
third and fourth time.
Bob's going to have to join us tomorrow because there's a thunderstorm where he is.
Oh.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob, for tomorrow when you come back on.
Hi, Bob. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I hope he comes back in at this exact point.
Yeah.
Hi, Bob. Now. Welcome back.
Oh, he's done the Magic Kingdom and Epcot on his book. So it's a quick update on the Walt Disney World book. Magic Kingdom and Epcot finished.
Yay!
Okay. So
is that a Sudoku book that he's doing? Is that what he's doing? Is that what he's doing?
He's always working on a book.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see.
Right. So there's no finishing date announced. So we know that. Right. They've rolled out, or it is live, mobile ordering. Now, I put in several restaurants when I actually looked into it. The only ones that are live today are Casey's Corner and Cafe Hyperion. They have got the facility for others. They must just be testing it first. But get this, Chris.
Go on.
Get this.
You can't order coffee.
It is worse. It's currently only for guests with a French phone number and billing address.
Oh.
I know. I'm hoping that's temporary. I'm hoping this is a test period and that they'll sort that the heck out.
It's such a great idea. It's such a good idea to be able to go and order your food and go and pick it up. Surely they're going to get it sorted pretty quick.
I think at the moment it might be a good time for it to be like that, because I can't imagine they've got many foreign guests there.
No, true.
And normally they have majority foreign guests and a minority French. But it would be an awful thing if you were in the park and it would almost be second-class citizens. All the French people could mobile order. The French people can mobile order. The British and the Belgians and the Germans, you can't mobile order. That's a little bit
Brexit.
Xenophobic. Yeah. Yeah.
Brexit again.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll get that sorted. And you can apply discounts and pay in app.
Mm.
Wow, that's good.
That is good.
I'm a big fan of these changes when they're available to us as well.
Yeah, and it's nice to know that they've reached 2021, isn't it? It's been a little slow coming.
Kicking and screaming.
Right, so that brings us to... Oh, we haven't discussed the fact that British people can go now. How's about it, lads?
That's good, isn't it? I mean, it's about time. It was a silly, pointless thing that they were doing in the first place. I don't get it. And then even if it was a worthwhile thing to have an Amber Plus, within a week that it was pretty clear that it wasn't a sensible thing to do, and they've just dragged it out. So yeah, it's about time they sorted it out, to be honest with you.
Well, the fact that they've been accused of U-turning on things means that they don't want to be seen to U-turn, and sometimes they need to U-turn because they're heading in the wrong direction. You can't not U-turn all the way to Manchester. Right. So that is good. So let's go on to the meat. Well, of our side bit.
What did you say about the playground reopening as well? Because just yesterday, I was saying, is the Pocahontas playground open? And we weren't sure.
Because they were the first time during the pandemic they were shut because of
obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, like, do you know what? Even if you don't have kids, you might not find yourself going down that area. So it's just a nice little extra arm. And actually, if you go down to the bottom of the playground, you can actually see out into the lake and Thunder Mountain. So it's worth checking out.
It's nice area. They've also got Pablo's trading post there now, haven't they? They've got the pin trading, so it is worth going up there. They've done something to the playground though. Have you seen this? Do you know what they've done?
No. She sounds like Leno again. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
They've coated the metal slides in a resin.
Can I just raise my hand and say, in the news last week, I put that the Frontierland playground had reopened and that the slides were no longer metal, so you didn't burn your bum on them. It was one of the pieces of news that we discussed in last week's show.
It was actually. I remember that.
But I did say I thought they were wood, so if they've coated it, that's even better. I didn't know what it was. I said when I looked at the pictures, it looked like they'd replaced them with wood, which seemed a little bit odd. So I'm glad that we've got the actual truth. No, but I also said at the time, Lucy will tell us the real facts, because I just looked for news and found a couple of little bits. So this is good. It's like exactly what I said would happen has happened. You've made things right. Thanks, Lucy.
Oh, you're welcome. But yeah, we were discussing with a friend of ours who's taking a small person whether the playgrounds would be there, and then I looked today and they are, and they were. But if I'd remembered from last week, we would have known the answer.
It's because you remembered.
Kind of. Speaking of that small person, have they watched these new Spider-Man shorts that are on Disney Junior that have come to Disney Plus this week?
Is that
it's called
Spidey and Friends?
And his amazing friends.
And his amazing friends. I've been doing the greetings cards for those at work. Ooh. So if you see those in the shops and they say UK greetings on the back, I put them together. But actually, as I was working on them, because we get a lot of style guides, I didn't realise it was a TV series. And
Well, the shorts so far, which is how they introduced the Muppets as well, wasn't it? When Muppet Babies came. So I imagine there's something else. That there's a proper TV series coming soon. And basically, if you want an idea of what it's like,
I know what you're going to say.
Go and watch PJ Masks, and that is exactly what it is like.
I knew you were going to say that,
but
because
it's got
I was
Miles Morales, isn't it?
I was going to say that too. Yeah, but he's called something like
Spin.
Spin, yeah, he's called Spin.
Yeah, he's called Spin.
They've given him a nickname.
There's a short. I think the first short maybe explains their origins and why they're called what they're called.
Well, as far as we know, he hasn't seen him, but well, he might have done.
It'd be right up his street.
They do.
Where I've been this week, the kids have watched it repeatedly and loved it.
We'll mention it, but I'm 100% sure they'll be on it. In fact, Bonnie and said Small Person were playing Iron Man and Spider-Man yesterday, weren't they?
Awesome.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah.
Right. So the main meat of today's meal, today's news.
Can I quickly explain the shirt? Because people are going to be like, why is he wearing that? It's a Disney show.
Okay.
Just really quickly.
Okay.
The reason I'm wearing it is because someone on the cruise was wearing it, and I was like, excuse me, I like that shirt. And his person with him, I don't know if it's a wife or daughter, I can't remember now. I think it was. She said, "Oh, H&M." So I immediately went home and bought it. So it does have a Disney connection. There you go. Right.
You said you had an anecdote about that.
Yeah, a really little boring anecdote.
Yeah, that was a letdown.
So they have released Premier Access, which means it is live on the app, so we know the prices. We also know when it says near instant access, it does mean it, because if you go on at 10:25, the window you'll be offered is 10:30 till 11, and it seems to be consistently like that. Unless it gets mega busy, you do seem to be able to get nearly instant access. So the pricing goes: Autopia and Star Tours, €8. Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain, €9. Big Thunder Mountain and Ratatouille, €12. And then Buzz Lightyear, Peter Pan's Flight and Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, €15. Now, I am really surprised by this. I know we were given a price scale of €8 to €15. In fact, was it to €22?
I think it
but
was.
they gave us a scale.
Yeah, I thought it was 15.
All right, okay. But I thought that would mean on quiet days it is 8, and on busy days it's 15. I didn't know they were scaling it by ride. And then you have to think, well, how are you scaling it? Because is this by how long the queue is likely to be, or I don't know how they've ranked the ride.
Well, yeah, it must be like they've looked at some data and they've worked out a percentage or something.
The desirability. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I understand why Peter Pan's Flight is at the top of the list, because it's the one that's always the busiest. It's constantly an hour and 20 minutes or more, so that kind of makes sense. But
the standby pass should be taking care of that.
Oh yeah,
shouldn't it?
That doesn't really matter though, does it? Because they're not getting money from that.
True. And I suppose if it's the busiest, that'll just mean that you have to wait longer to get into the standby queue with the standby pass, won't it?
I want to know if anyone in the chat would pay any of these prices potentially. My current stance is never in a million years would I pay any of these extra costs.
No.
It's interesting to hear these prices, but honestly and truthfully, it doesn't matter to me, because it's not something I would ever even.
No, I hope it's a massive flop and someone gets demoted. That's what I said on Twitter.
The one that does surprise me a lot is Buzz Lightyear, and I'll tell you for several reasons. Autopia is the cheapest. But I don't think you're going to get one single person going on Autopia. I think they're going to go on as a family. So I think it's priced for a family. Now, I think that you would go on Buzz Lightyear as a duo or as a family as well. It seems that kind of ride. And if they've not changed the Fast Pass joins the queue 10 minutes before the ride. So if you pay in €15 to join the queue where you used to join the queue, it's an absolute ridiculous thing. And it's, in my experience, it's not the longest queue either. It gets to 45 minutes sometimes, but it's not a 70-minute queue in general. So I just don't know why it's €15. And you can't pay €15 for a family of 4. Now, when it's Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, Big Thunder Mountain, I can see like single people going, all right, my family is going to go and do that, and I'll just quickly run on this. But then with that thinking, why is Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain so cheap when that is one of the longest lines and it's not a family ride? It seems so incredibly scattergun.
It really does,
can't
doesn't
work
it?
it out.
I'd love to see all the data behind it and what the reasoning is. I'm actually quite interested in that. I'm more interested in that than I am in paying to go on one of these rides.
Yeah, because there will be like. Yeah, it'll all be database, and they'll have just come out like at certain levels, and they've gone right.
I don't think it is scattergun. Like I say, I'm sure you're absolutely right, but it just seems scattergun, which is strange.
Because I would say for Autopia, the logic for me is the reason that they've picked Autopia to be the cheapest one is because who the hell would ever pay to go on Autopia? I mean, why would you? It's not.
I don't know.
You have to steer yourself and stuff. I mean, honestly.
Oh, well, that's novel to me because I don't drive.
As a family,
so I love it. I always drive on it.
As a family of 3 with a little one, it's been we're desperate to go on Autopia. She's desperate to go on Autopia. It looks so cool. Oh my God, it's a 45-minute awful wait. And we've done that 45-minute awful wait. And we don't queue if we can help it. And we have done that. So... do you know, funnily enough, of all these, Autopia might be the one where I'd be like, I just can't stand in that queue. I hate that queue. It might be the one that I'd have my arm twisted to do, but still very unlikely.
Tell you what else as well, when people do come through on a fast pass on Autopia, that is the worst because you see them walk all the way up and you watch them going ahead of you. Yeah. When you've been waiting for ages, snaking up and down, because you can see everything the whole time.
We can see them with the tiaras and the fur coats.
Yeah.
It's not good, is it?
Pearls.
Smelling of Chanel as they go past.
Yeah. Oh, but the smell of petrol at Autopia is awesome, though, isn't it? That fuel smell is really nice.
It's all part
I'd pay for that.
Yeah.
Nat says, I don't think we'd ever pay for it. Ross says, no, not ever, but I would consider a day pass type deal. Love the show, by the way.
That's what they used to have, isn't it?
Thanks, Ross.
Well, I think that this is what they're working up to, basically.
Matt wouldn't want to pay for Fast Pass, but if the queue is horrendous, we would probably relent. Max also got a question about the cruise, but we'll come on to that later.
Okay. Oh, gladly. Now, this is what I think. You know how UK laws mean that if you're going to have a sale in a shop, you have to have sold that item for a minimum amount of time at full price before it can go into sale?
Yeah.
I think whilst the park is just not at its full functioning level that it's going to eventually be at, they are putting these prices out there. They're on the app, they've been live, so they are real prices. And then I think long term it's going to become bundle deals and incentives, and people will be able to go, oh look, we get three passes for $20, but Peter Pan's flight's usually 15, so we've just saved €25.
The illusion of a saving.
Exactly. I think that I think that this is working up to some kind of bundle deal and an incentive, like I say.
So like when you go to the seaside and there's some rides there and you buy coins and you use 2 coins for one ride and 4 coins for another ride but you don't have to pay to get in to be able to do that.
No, yeah, exactly. I think it's going to go that way. Also, I know that the American parks they've had their fast passes taken away during COVID, and they're waiting for them to come back. And everyone is just terrified of the paid fast pass system coming, which I don't think it will. And all you hear from the American news constantly is, we're all looking at Paris. We've got to see how it's going to work in Paris. And when these prices dropped, they were covering them in great detail, all debating what that would mean for the US parks. And I almost felt like, writing in and going, I won't worry about it. It's going to flop. It's going to fall on its backside.
Let's not forget as well that the standby queue is now it's like a larger version of the old fast pass, isn't it? So everyone's going there for set time. So like, let's not forget that and just think, oh, it's exactly the same, but now we have to pay for this. Hopefully the standby queue will be a lot smoother and you'll be waiting less in the queue anyway.
And it seems to have worked that way. Or at least what I saw about Crusher's Coaster a couple of weeks ago seemed to imply that that's how it was working. So,
right.
Fingers crossed.
I mean, this might be genius.
It might be.
And these prices might literally just be for those people who can afford it, who don't care about the money, and they can just, they get a little bit of extra money on top of it. It might be brilliant. It might be.
And you know what Walt says? Keep moving forward.
There you go. Keep making more money at the cost of the consumer. That's what he said often, Walt. Do you know what we'll never know that's frustrating? You can get box office figures for cinemas. You can get passenger figures for trains. We're never going to get figures of how many of these have actually sold on a day-to-day basis. And it would be fascinating. It would be fascinating to know how many they did on a weekend, how many they did in the school holidays, when they were the most popular. And you can't even do it anecdotally because you don't know if someone going through a fast pass queue has got a disability pass or has been comped some pixie dust. You know what I mean? So you can't even say, oh, there were loads of people going through, because it doesn't tell the true story. And yeah, it's an experiment as far as I can see.
Yeah.
Right. Shall we move on?
Before we do,
yes.
Have we got time for me to ask you what he's drinking?
Yeah.
Hey, ole, it's showtime! All together! Your tiki cup in your tiki cup. Well, you made yourself a beverage, I'll drink it up from your tiki cup.
And before I do say what it is, for the listeners, the shirt I was talking about earlier is a Snoopy and Woodstock shirt. I didn't mention that. We can't forget about some people just listen to the show. So that's what I was talking about. This, Chris, is, I'm trying not to drink all of it because you showed some interest in it, but it's that roasted pineapple, I can't remember what it was.
Is it rum?
Yeah, it's
Captain Morgan's
roasted pineapple rum. It's got a vanilla taste to it, but it's delicious. But I've cut it today with I was like, oh, what should I put with it? I just put it with some orange and pineapple cordial, and I think you're gonna like it, Chris.
Oh, I'm excited.
You're gonna like it. So it'll be that or lilt we're gonna have it with.
Oh, this will be next week, won't it? Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
We're back in the same room again, again.
Hooray, at last.
Yay! Right, has anyone got anything to say to us about these?
We've got about 3 chunks of things to cover in the rest of the show, just so we're all aware.
Yeah.
Well, Nat was adding that about the queues. We go at very busy times, and what's TOT?
Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror and Buzz are often a walk on if you catch them at the right time, usually the start or the end of the day. 2 of the most
popular rides, busy times of year. You're absolutely right, Nat. This is the thing. If you're clever about DLP, I don't think you need to do any of these. We never used the paper fast ones there. Paper fast passes barely, did we?
Not really. Like maybe once a trip, maybe.
Interesting though, if you get on Buzz really early, like if it happens to be open in early magic hours, then quite often the pictures aren't being taken, and definitely the booth isn't open. So if you do want to see or have your picture, you don't have the option.
Yeah,
I can live with that.
Yeah, certainly over queuing for 40 minutes.
I all the rest of them I like to do silly faces, but with the Buzz one, I'm always concentrating. You've always got me going,
yeah,
like really intense look on my face. Right, let's talk about this Galactic Starcruiser.
Oh, there's 4 things to talk about then. We need to get cracking.
Okay. So, just briefly, we don't need to dwell on this because it's not a Paris thing, but it has been rumoured to be coming. They have now released itineraries and prices for this Galactic Starcruiser. This is a Star Wars themed immersive experience. You have to get hold of the immersive experience. And to give you an idea of that, you board the Halcyon Starcruiser by entering a launch pod. So when you arrive for your holiday, you go into a launch pod and you are fired into hyperspace, at which point you arrive on a Halcyon Starcruiser. Right. And from this point on, you are living being on a Star Wars vessel. After you arrive, you have sabacc lessons. and you have lightsaber lessons. You have lunch at the Crown of Coelia dining room. And there's also points in your itinerary for spontaneous story moments. Because if there's one thing we like to have scheduled, it's spontaneity, don't you think?
Organised fun.
Organised fun. You get from, and the itinerary is so forensic. At 8:15 a.m. you board your shuttle to Batuu, and then from 8:25 a.m. until 12:40, you are allowed to explore Galaxy's Edge. You will get fast passes to ride the rides, but you will also have a spontaneous story moment while you're there. Now, it's based on a cruise model in that all your food, drinks, experiences, everything is included in the price. You are entirely enclosed there. There's also looks to be very little time to do what you want. It's like going on a murder mystery weekend for the whole weekend. Okay, so it's all role playing from start to finish. Every moment is sort of planned out, if that appeals to you. But then let's get to the prices. We're going to talk about who this appeals to in a second. Let's get to the prices, because I just saw this big graphic come up, and the first number that came up was $1,209. And I thought, yeah, it's expensive. I thought it would be. And then I read that was per person, and I was like, oh God, yeah, that sounds about right. And then I read that it was per person per night. So
I missed that bit.
For two people, for 2 nights, it's $4,809.
Let's say $5,000.
Let's say $5,000. Now, it does get slightly less per person per night if you're a family of 3 or a family of 4. A family of 4, it would be $5,999, so $6,000. This is in dollars. There is an exchange rate, but it's $6,000 for 2 nights. This, to me,
Chris is exhaling.
Is so incredibly niche. Now, I'm not saying it's not. If this appeals to you, if you are a massive Star Wars fan who's always wanted to learn to play sabacc, and you're also a bit of an Amdrammer and you want to get into the immersiveness, and you don't mind being bossed around, and you're quite happy to have early mornings and all these things, because all the itineraries start at 7:30. If all these things are okay with you and you're really rich,
it might be fun
then
for a
that's
couple of
all
hours.
right. But I mean, the Venn diagram of people who will go for this, because, for example, I actually, to be honest, with the exception of being really rich, that I'm not, but the rest of it, I might check all those boxes. I actually would. I'd be up for the geeky organised fun, but Hugh wouldn't, and I wouldn't go without him.
Sounds exhausting.
So as a couple, we wouldn't go as a couple.
What do you think, Chris?
So then,
I think it sounds like a team building exercise. It sounds like work with a Star Wars theme. This is what it sounds like to me. I cannot imagine wanting to go and have 2 days that was so heavily orchestrated that even the spontaneity had a time frame. And looking through it as well, so they've got 2 of the rides there, haven't they? So they've got Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance there. So 2 of the things that you're going to be doing, great. It's another opportunity that you can go on those rides. Fantastic. I think that's quite a good thing. I'm sure the food will be superb, immense, and I'm sure the whole thing will be just like mind-blowing. I'm sure it would be, but to get me there would be an incredibly difficult thing to do, even if I had the money, I think, because
it's, for me, it's the thought of exerting the energy of being like bright and excited at every interaction you have and going, oh, okay, we need to go over there now. Okay, let's do that. Yeah. After 5 minutes, I'd be like, oh man, can you just leave me alone? You can opt out of these things, but I mean, the price would be the same, I guess. I take it. They're not going to have a stripped down version for cheaper, are they?
No.
So, and what do you do while you're opting out? Just sit in your cabin?
Yeah.
I'm also
This-
this is starting from prices as well. I'm presuming that certain weeks of the year it'll be more expensive. I presume that they will have bigger rooms. I don't presume all the rooms are exactly the same. So there'll be suites and stuff that probably cost more. And it's what gets me is not what it is, because there will be people this appeals to big time. And I think that Disney, of all companies, could just knock this out of the park. I think it'll be amazing. I also think it's a very brave thing to do. And what we often criticize Disney for doing is just following the money. So they go, oh, well, this would be easy. This has worked in the past. Let's do it again. They're not. They're pushing the envelope, which I think is fantastic. But I just can't see how this can work for more than 12 months. Because you'll get those people who absolutely have to do it. They have to do it. I don't think it'll have much repeat visit ability, just because of the price, if not what it is. The fact that it's organized makes it, I don't know if you can do it twice. So I just can't see how they can keep this going for 20, 30 years, the way that you would think that they would. The amount of investment that they've put in it.
It'll turn into something else. It'll just turn into
that's what I think it will.
regular hotel.
Yeah, I think it'll turn to a regular hotel. I can see that they would continue potentially doing some of these things on a smaller scale, maybe like an evening of something immersive where you condense all this stuff that's going to take place over 2 days.
An evening with Greedo.
Because like Rise of the Resistance is supposed to be, as a ride, is that immersive experience of Star Wars, and you've got what, I don't know how long it is, let's say 11 minutes, something like that of it, and from what I've seen of it, it looks great. It looks really good. But even that and the level of cast member interaction and stuff within it, I think will be quite an exhausting thing to go through.
Yeah.
So to have that, just like you just said, Hugh, to have that constantly for 2 days plus your breakfast on the last day,
you'd be a nervous wreck by the end of it, wouldn't you?
And
your hair would be
stress
falling out. You'd be like, anyone who spoke to you, you'd be like, my shoelace is untied. Okay, thanks. Thought it was going to be.
I've just been fighting in a
thought it was going
galactic
to be
war.
another mission.
But
Yeah.
it probably would be really good fun. You know?
If you're rich, do let us know.
Now, the one thing I think
if you're
that
looking forward
will
to it.
protect Paris from this is the language difficulties. It would be very hard to run this in as many multiple languages as they need
Well, you'd
to.
have to be there for 4 days, wouldn't you?
In Paris, yeah. to read the subtitles. But it has been flirted simply because we're getting Galaxy's Edge, or we presume we're still getting Galaxy's Edge. They have started laying foundations. Well, no, sorry, they've started preparing the ground for something. We just haven't had it confirmed that it's still Galaxy's Edge.
Staff car park.
Yeah. And so it has been thought that we could get it, but I'm just interested in the chat if people are like, yeah, I'd do it, or, my mum would love that, or whatever.
Well, Mark says that even if you could afford it, sometimes you should just say no, like Zamo. And if you get that reference,
love a Grange Hill reference.
Yeah.
That is possibly
Showing
one
our
of
age.
the worst songs ever released. If you've never heard it or seen the video, get on YouTube and find it, because it's
don't.
awful. Actually don't. It's truly awful.
I think you can age yourself by which Grange Hill theme tune you sort of grew up with. If it's the original. Ding, 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 ding.
Right, come on.
Right, okay.
Honestly, we've got loads to get through.
Okay, right. So
We've got about 10 minutes left.
That's me done.
We can run over, I guess.
Right. Was there a cruise question before we go to the Patreon thing?
Yeah, and also I wanted to hear a bit about Chris's trip.
Oh.
The cruise question, it'll be quite short. It was Mark. They were having second thoughts about going because they weren't sure that the teenagers would be catered for. That was right, wasn't it? That was the question we had.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't read it.
Oh, your
No,
video
this was the other
frozen.
day. We got a message about it. Oh.
Can you hear us though?
I don't know. Can you, if you're watching, can you just let us know if you can still hear Hugh and Lucy? Because we can't see them. It seems to be picking you up still. He's still picking
Yeah,
you
you
up.
can still hear us. You
Yeah,
can still
yeah.
hear us.
It's
Carry on.
frozen with my alopecia on display. That's embarrassing.
Right, you can still hear us. Let's
Oh, I should have said that then.
carry on.
Right. They've got the edge and the vibe, which is, I can't remember which way around it is, but it's for younger teenagers and older teenagers. And older teenagers are 17 to 21. And I know people who've got older teenage kids, like 18-year-olds, who they just go up to this lounge where they've got you know, your Xboxes and pool tables. I don't know because I haven't been in there. They've got this stuff and they make friends and they just hang out and then they never see the teenage kids again for the whole cruise. This is what somebody I know moaned to me about. I'm not saying yours will do that, but the thought that it might not have anything for teenagers. They've got specific things for teenagers. Hang on. No, that's not going. But we did get this comment, is it just for kids? We went with a young child and we sorted our weekend around the young child. So anyone who's watched our vlogs, we are doing a lot of kiddie things. We are meeting princesses, we are going to kids clubs, we are doing little crafts with paper flowers. But what you don't see is while me and Bonnie are going and doing crafts with paper flowers in one bar, at the bar at the other end of the deck, they're having tequila tastings. You know, it's very much catered for everyone.
Yeah.
But don't be put off by our vlogs, because our vlogs were a family with a 6-year-old. If you watch the vlog of a family with an 18, 20-year-old, it's going to be totally different. Same with a 13, 14-year-old, totally different. And I don't want to call their kids clubs because I know a 13-year-old would hate that, but they have clubs and where they can meet people their own age and do things that are appropriate for them. And as for the communal aspects, such as the meals, the shows, anything like that, that is 100% for all age groups. Would you say that's fair, Huey?
Yeah. I'm more concerned with the fact that we've gone black now.
Yeah, you have gone completely black. Sorry, I'm just staring weirdly because I'm trying to find a fix for this and I can't find one at all. Have you noticed the mouse keeps appearing over the screen as well?
Yeah. It's all gone a bit weird here.
I just keep talking, thinking
right.
the boys will sort the technology out.
I think it's an issue at my end. That's all I can assume. What do you want to do? Do you want to just carry on talking?
Let's just carry on talking.
Good.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
carry on
fine.
talking then. Excellent.
Well,
I'll keep trying to fix it in the background.
As the mouse is appearing as you move it across the screen, maybe you could draw our faces.
I can start to do that. There we go.
Right.
There is Lucy.
So, hope that answers your question, Mark.
Yeah.
And sorry it's been distracting with us being missing. This is Chris is listeners. Chris is drawing us live. Right, Chris.
Yeah.
Since you're on screen, maybe you could tell us a bit about your trip, because I thought it'd be interested to hear just, like we occasionally do like a, what are attractions like closer to home, do they compare type of things. So you've been on a trip.
So, we've been to London this week and we set off on Wednesday and we went to the Harry Potter experience at Warner Brothers Studios, which was absolutely brilliant. Laura and I went not long after it opened, I don't think, and really enjoyed it before we had kids. But Lucas has been really enjoying his Harry Potter books recently, so we thought we'd go and give it a go. And there's so much more there now. I mean, a lot of it's exactly the same, and so you go into the Great Hall, and that in itself is a stunning set. But the things that really blew me away were things like the Forbidden Forest, where you've got all these animatronic creatures all moving around and things, and it's really, really nice and atmospheric. But also, I sent you a couple of pictures, didn't I, of Gringotts Bank, because
and we didn't get it.
No, I know. Well, so one of the things that you find in there is that they have a lot of costumes, and so there's a lot of like the characters there, but they're completely faceless. But the good thing about the goblins is that it's all masks, so they're able to put some of the prosthetic masks there within the costumes in the set, and the set was just like being there, stood in the film. It was absolutely stunning.
Chris sent us a message saying tried to make a withdrawal and they weren't having it, and we both were like, what's he mean?
Yeah.
What's he mean? What's going on?
I don't think the photo. I think the message came before the photo.
That's right.
Yeah. So we went there and had a really good time with the boys, and then we went around London the next day, and we decided to go and see all kinds of stuff. Lucas wanted to go and see everything we possibly could, but we went to the Natural History Museum, saw the blue whale, did all that. That took us probably about 3 hours, which was good fun. And then what he really, really wanted to do was go and see Big Ben. not the bell, but the tower. So we got on the train to Westminster, got off the tube, walked up the steps, and of course it's in scaffolding because we completely forgot about that. So it
We
wasn't
did
much
the
of a
same
sight
last
at
year,
all.
didn't we?
But we walked back to Trafalgar Square from there in the pouring rain, got absolutely soaked, walking past the New Scotland Yard and then up to the Horses Guard and stuff. It was good, it was. It's just been a really, really good time, and then we've had a few days with the family after that. But do you know what's been great about it is getting out and doing normal things again, and being able to have proper days out. And yes, we wore our masks pretty much everywhere we went, but so was everybody else.
Yeah.
And even though you don't have to, people are still doing it. There are some who don't, but it's almost become this accepted thing of like, oh, you don't want to wear a mask, that's fine, it doesn't matter at all. And oh, you are wearing a mask, that's good because so am I. On the tube, everybody wore them. Everybody, apart from the kids, everybody wore them, and that was really encouraging as well. In fact, just one last thing on masks, and then I'll go back to the invisible people up here. Is to say that I went to a gym today because Lucas and Ollie are having swimming lessons, and the manager of the gym showed me around because I'm thinking of joining a gym, which is a bit of a strange thing to me, a bit alien, but. He actually thanked me for wearing a mask. He said, nobody has to wear them now, and that's absolutely fine, and we don't mind. But I really, really appreciate that you're wearing a mask today because I need to wear one, and I think it's a really positive thing to do. So I felt quite good about that,
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That was my little holiday. I've got no vlogging or anything from it, I'm afraid. Nothing interesting because I haven't quite warmed to vlogging yet. You guys are the masters of that, aren't you?
Oh, we're loving it.
We're loving it at the moment because our cruise vlogs, like mine's about to hit 1,000, which for me is like crazy. And Lucy's, how much have you had on your first one?
First one's about 1,600 now.
Yeah, that's like crazy.
And the second one's 874, so that's going to get to 1,000 pretty soon.
That's on our YouTube channel, obviously.
Yeah, and we've still got day 3, and we've got a short one for getting off. So we've got 2 more to go, and I've also done an expectations versus reality video. So if you are interested in the cruise vlogs, get hold of that. But there will be more vlogs coming because we've got a little trip update.
Well, if you want to find mine, just search for my name, Hugh Rain, or I have, again, added it to the playlist on our YouTube channel, the Disney Street channel. We've got a playlist called Trip Reports, is it? Or something like that?
Yes, I think it is called Trip Reports.
And it's just, it'll be the latest one under there.
Hugh's is a little bit more adult. It's not adult in the sense that there's any swearing or nudity or anything. It's just he puts a lot more kind of dry humour into his... So that stays on his channel, and then we do like the more family-friendly Disney version.
Yours is more information-based. Mine's more story arcs.
Yeah.
And impressions and things.
Natcat in the chat says the vlogs are brilliant, and I agree. I've been watching back your vlogs, and I think even just from the ones that you did last year when you went back to the pandemic for the first time when it reopened, I think the way that you're vlogging, Lucy in particular, is just getting better and better. So.
Even Bonnie's made a couple. So Bonnie's got her own channel. It's called Bonnie's Place. There are 2 called Bonnie's Place, but she was the first. And she's put a couple on recently. So they're very they're from a child's point of view, and it's on her little kiddie zoom, VTech kiddie zoom camera. So it's very it's a 6-year-old's made it, but it's cute. Yeah.
Update on the camera. I think it's your end, not my end. So unless you can off and on it, possibly.
I mean, that's not working, but if there's a way of turning it off in control panel, Hugh, I don't know. So, right. So we've got a trip update.
I mean, could we log out and log back in? Oh, stop video, start video.
Can you just? So we've got a trip update. The Florida trip has been officially fully cancelled now. I know we all kind of knew that, but I was hanging on because the return flights were still there. The hotel booking was still done, but we've had to give in. So we're rescheduling our flights, and my points for the DVC has gone back into the DVC bank. And I was able to sweet talk the lady in member services so she could put all my 2021 points into 2022 use year. So that's good. So I've got spare points next year. So you had 2 weeks off work and no Disney in our lives at the end of August. So this happened the exact day that they lifted the Amber Plus regulations. So we called up our friends that we were meant to be going to Florida with in May, who couldn't make it in August, and said, do you still want to do Disney? And they said, yes, we do. Can you do these dates? Yes, we can. So we have booked, guys, and I'm so happy to say it, a Disneyland Paris trip. Now, to say that we are the Disneyland Paris Show and none of us have been since last July. And to be fair, we did well to go last July, because a week after we got back, they stopped travel from the UK, didn't they? And then they closed the park again in October. So this is literally like the first chance we've got. We went the first chance last time, the first chance we've got. We are actually going to be in Disneyland Paris. Is this working with Hugh's arm over the microphone? Shall I move the microphone?
We can hear you fine. You're
cool.
Fine. Just can't see you.
So I'll give you the details. We're flying from Manchester to Charles de Gaulle, and we're getting a private transfer to Village Nature, where we're staying for a full 6 nights, 7 days. We've only got 4-day park. Well, the people we're going with have only got 4-day park tickets, with the thought that it would be 4 days in the park, 3 days kids in swimming pools enjoying themselves. Now, this is quite a big thing, because when Village Nature first opened, I very much had the reaction to it that we've just had to Premier Access. I'm like, well, fine, it's for someone, but it's not for me. I'm a Disney girl. I'll stay in a Disney hotel. But with COVID and just various, just different things, the way the world's gone, I just thought I'd prefer to be a bit further out and have a forest and open spaces and private accommodation. And so this time round, as it was going to last year when we couldn't go, we've decided with that. So we're going to do a full review of that on the YouTube channel. I'm going to vlog that, which personally, I think it'll be interesting, because you don't get many Disneyland Paris vlogs from Village Nature, but it is another accommodation option. And we're also going to be looking at the Studio D, Disney Junior at Studio D. We're going to be looking at the new car Route 66. We're going to be looking at the Castle in a Box. We're going to be looking at what it's like with the health passes and the new things. So I'm really excited. And because we did really enjoy vlogging when we were on the cruise, and we've had such lovely reactions to the vlogs. We've vlogged before, but not seriously. I'm really excited to have another chance so soon to get more vlogs out there as well. So, I mean, it feels a bit surreal, because this was booked. Oh, it was booked yesterday morning, wasn't it?
Yep.
It was booked yesterday morning, and we're going in 20 days, which is weird. 22 days. We're going in 22 days, one more than 3 weeks.
Have you started packing?
Basically, I have a suitcase in the garage full of Disney clothes, like just my Disney bounds and Bonnie's Disney outfits and stuff. And it's a case of taking stuff out. So we've only got a week's worth rather than a fortnight's worth, but pretty much. And
awesome.
Pretty much packed, but it's very exciting. We're always poised for Disney, the way a lynx is poised for prey. But the people we're going with have never been on any kind of Disney holiday. And this is very quick for them. And I don't think they've got a clue what's about to happen to them. So that's adding an interesting thing as well. I think we haven't discussed this, boys, but I think a discussion for next week will be what it's like to book a last minute Disney trip, because it has created some problems. When I said that the people we're going with have got 4-day tickets, we're just getting 1-day tickets because we're going to upgrade to annual passes. Yes, I am gutted that we cancelled our annual passes when we did, because they would still be valid. You live, you learn. But then we're not able to make park reservations if we only book 1-day tickets instead of 4. So this is what I was trying to get in touch with Disney about today on the live chat, and it wasn't working. So I need to get a little bit further into the planning, working out what we need for the flights, what we need in terms of masks. And then next week, if it's okay by you guys, we'll have a chat about what it's like to do a last minute trip during a pandemic. Because I
Sounds
know
like a
there
plan.
are people in the chat who've got trips coming up. Maybe they're going to fly somewhere that, you know, might be interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That sounds like a
Can't
good
fix-
idea to me.
Can't fix that camera. Literally, we'd have to come out of Zoom and back in, and that's all it will be, but never mind. So we'll leave it there.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
Chris, you've got a bit of a Patreon update.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I do. So, as some of you may know, we've mentioned over the last couple of weeks that we're doing a bit of a competition. We're trying to raise £100 so that we can buy 2 new microphones. Probably need a new camera as well now, but that's another story. So, we've got a lot of the sound equipment that we need to improve our audio when we're together. When we're apart like this, it's not so bad, but basically we need 2 new microphones. So we're trying to raise £100 to do that, and we're doing that through Patreon. Now, we've got some very, very kind Disney Street pals so far who've helped to contribute to this, and we've already raised £45 of that target, which is pretty awesome to say. We only started it a couple of weeks ago. Now, you can, if you want to contribute, we're doing a massive giveaway. So everybody who contributes will have an opportunity to win some great prizes, which I'll tell you what some of these prizes are in a second. But essentially, if you want to do that, you just need to go onto Patreon, which the details are in the comments for this, whether you're listening on a podcast or you're watching on YouTube. And if you sign up there as a Disney Street Pal, which is just £3 a month, then as soon as you've registered and paid that first £3, you'll be eligible to be entered into the prize draw. If you don't want to contribute more than that, that's absolutely fine. You can just cancel it at that point in time. If you don't cancel it, it'll become a monthly rolling thing. So just bear that in mind if you do decide to do it. There's absolutely no pressure here from us. You know, we're not. I feel like I'm begging, and I don't want to feel like I'm begging. We're literally just saying, you know, if you want to contribute, if you want to support us, then this is the way that you can do it. And at the moment, we're trying to raise some money to do that. Every penny that we've earned through Patreon so far, we've plugged straight back into the show, and I think we'll always continue to do that. You know, we've used it to improve the camera that I use at the moment. We used it to purchase this Stream Deck here, which we use for broadcasting on YouTube, and we've used it for some of the audio equipment, and we'll continue to use it to improve the audio equipment as well. Anyway, I've waffled a bit now. Basically, here's some of the prizes that we've got on offer for everybody who's contributing at the moment. We have a custom Disney illustration that Hugh's going to do. We've got 4 custom pyrography coasters that are created by friend of the show, Bob Sangwell, who was on earlier. We have a copy of the Taschen Mickey Mouse The Ultimate History handheld edition, or pocket edition, which is a great book, by the way. A copy of Where's the Wookiee, volumes 1 and 2. So if you're a bit of a Where's Wally fan, there's a Star Wars version of that there. We've got a copy of The Walt Disney World That Never Was by Christopher E. Smith. This is great. It's one of the theme park press books, and it's all about rides that either didn't end up being the way that they originally intended or were never created at all. And there's some real detail in the Imagineering process that went into those rides that were never created, and how some of the things were recycled and used in other rides and things as well. Brilliant. I've also got we've got a selection of DLP coins from the last couple of years. We've got a one-off 37 Disney Street mug. This is because our T Public site was taken down the other day, and I only managed to get 1 mug before the cup was taken away from the opportunity to sell the cup was taken away from us. We've also got 4 37 Disney Street stickers, which also will never be repeated. And finally, although not entirely finally, we've got a 3-piece Winnie the Pooh canvas picture set as well, which I acquired a couple of days ago. There's other things being added all the time. Hugh and Lucy brought some bits and bats back from the cruise, didn't you?
Yeah, like literally bits and bats, like sort of, you know, the odd pen and the odd badge type of thing. Just, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. And
silly little things.
I'm really hopeful that Hugh might do a bit of a trip to a shop nearby and purchase some hella spiced ketchup as well, because I think that'd be quite a nice thing to see.
Oh, you bet.
Oh, yeah.
You bet I will.
And there may be other things as well by the time we get to the end of it. But there we are. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to say, really, was if you want to support us, there's some really good prizes available once we raise that £100. And if you don't want to, the fact that you support us by watching these shows, contributing, and all those different things is just fantastic anyway. So thank you. And thanks to everybody. That's me. There you go.
Yeah. The sound of your laughter is reward enough for us, really.
Right.
Although we can't hear anybody.
That's we've topped an hour again, boys. We know how to talk. Wow. So yeah, do check out our cruise vlogs that are up on the channel at the moment, and there's more vlogs coming. So if you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing on a live chat, but if you're not, then subscribe now. And next week we're going to be doing the last minute trip planning in a pandemic. So if you want to get the latest on that, I will have a lot more knowledge than I have now. So in the meantime, make sure you like, subscribe, leave reviews on iTunes if you're a listener, and don't forget our Patreon account. I've been Lucy. You've been great. These have been Chris and Hugh. Goodbye.
See you later.
Bye-bye.